J Jinx!
Truck stop!
In today's video, I will be presenting to you knives that I've received in the mail from people. That's about it. We'll start with this one. Now, I've been holding on to this one for a very long time. I actually purchased this from one of my viewers. Oh gosh, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 years ago, and I just never really talked about it. So I got this knife from Grom Molotok. I think that's the pronunciation. Who's been a subscriber for a very long time. He's active and leaves comments, and he's an all-around pretty good guy. So the story behind this knife is, if Grom is to be believed, I have no reason to disbelieve him. He said that this was actually made by somebody in prison that he knew, or he was related to someone who knew him, or something like that. Now, at first, I've got a little bit of a hard time believing that someone would be able to make something like this in prison. But I could see how it could be done, if it was just kind of, you work in a metal shop and you're like, hey, I want to make a knife. And as long as you keep it in there and don't take it back to your cell or whatever, and I guess you'd have to be a well-behaved prisoner. I guess I could see how that would work. And tragically, the story is that the maker of this knife got out of the prison and never really could adjust back to civilian life, and tragically, they ended their life. So on that note, I gotta find a better way of saying that, I think.
No, you said it the right way.
Well, okay. Anyway, and so even though this had some sentimental value to Grom, he was in need of money and he wanted to sell it. And he said he wanted to sell it for a certain amount of money, but he would be willing to offer it to me for a discount. But after hearing the story, I insisted on giving the full amount, and then he sent the knife to me. And I gotta say, it is really unique. Look at this handle. I've never seen anything like this. It looks like it was literally shaped after the grooves that your hand makes when you clasp something. So it looks kind of goofy and bulgy, but it is super comfortable. Now, I've got a feeling that whoever made this, I would assume they modeled the grooving after their own hand. And I'm assuming that their hand was quite a bit larger than mine, because it feels almost awkwardly big compared to the rest of the knife. These are just thick scales, pinned with brass. Don't know what kind of wood this is. It's dark. It's got a semi-gloss finish. And I'm also not sure what kind of steel this was made from, but you can see there's a little bit of pitting that remained after probably some resurfacing. Who knows? There are some tool marks as well along the bevel, but look at the edge. This is actually an impressively ground bevel. Now let's see how good the edge is, or not how good, but how consistent. That is impressive. Now keep in mind, when I do this, when I run a dowel along the edge of the blade, I'm not testing its sharpness. I'm just feeling for consistency. There's a little bit of inconsistency up here where the curvature is. That's pretty common, I find, in even higher end knives. That is impressive. I could not do that good of a job with the sharpening. The sheath is pretty interesting too. It's kind of a repurposed sheath from something bigger, maybe a machete perhaps. They just kind of lopped off the end and shoved the knife inside, and it's got a real tree finish, nylon material, most likely. So a truly unique story and knife. And I remember at the time when I bought it, I was gonna make a whole video with like some kind of social commentary about the atrocious state of our prison system and how rehabilitation is a joke. You know, somebody with this much talent, who just couldn't find work and adjust to the life on the outside. It's a shame, and it still is. And coincidentally, shortly after I got this knife and thought about making that video, this was like 2017, 18, 19, somewhere in there, when there, at the time, there was actually a kind of a national conversation going on about prisons in the U.S., more so than usual. And so I kind of backed away from it a little bit because I didn't want to seem, you know, edgy and topical, but reactionary, whatever you want to call it. And then I just never got back to this knife. It does feature full tang construction, and there's a lot of subtle things about it that just make it kind of neat. Like, it's, if you look at the back of the handle, it's almost like a trailing pommel. There's curvature. There's a recurve to the back side of it. And the contouring on the front side follows the tang, which means that this is cut from a larger piece of metal. Blade stock is pretty thick. Looks like about, not a 1/4 inch, but maybe, what would be the next measurement below a 1/4 inch? Maybe like, I don't know, 3/16 or something like that. I'm a metric guy. That's about 4 millimeters. So thank you very much, Grom, for parting with this truly special knife. Let me know if you ever want it back. I will give it back to you. There is no price for sentimentality. It has been well stored, well taken care of, and it finally has a chance to be on my channel. Next in the mail, I got a package from my buddy Rick quite a while ago. And I don't even remember. Oh yeah, he sent me something he 3D printed. This box is kind of interesting. It looks like there's sign language or something going on. I guess. Anyway, and along with the 3D printed thing, it says here, welcome to your best nail life. Hey, Rick, is there something you want to tell me? Not judging or anything, just, you know. It's a little stubby push dagger type of knife, and he sent a letter. Hi, JJ Jinx. I found this knife while running. I assume it's a self-defense knife that is missing its sheath. Probably worn on a necklace. Anyways, you can have it, as your collection stays hungry. The fuck does that mean? Yes, Rick, I do know what this is. It says right on it. It's really beat up and reflective, so I don't know if it Mini Pal. There you go. I do know that the brand Cold Steel produces quite a lot of push daggers of different sizes and shapes. I don't know off the top of my head if the Mini Pal is a... Oh, no, I can make it out on the other side, actually. It is so marred and beat up, but you can just barely make out D Steel. So it got kind of rubbed out. But yes, this is a Cold Steel Mini Pal. Japanese made. And you would be correct that people would normally have a little plastic or Kydex sheath. And then it would have a lanyard of some kind, and you'd wear it around your neck. And it is in pretty bad shape. Now, when you say you found this running, that could mean that it was on the beach, because I know Rick lives near the beach. There is a little bit of rust on it. Somebody really either used this quite a bit, because the fully serrated cutting edge is just torn to crap, or maybe it was like in the road and got ran over a few times. I don't know. And it's got a very rubbery handle piece with molded knurling, and that is extremely grippy. If you ever had a cold steel knife with that kind of material, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, you're supposed to kind of hold it like this and then that's how you cut your veggies. There's a speed hole in it, or something. The hole could be a way for maybe a hard plastic sheath of some kind to kind of snap into place. I'm not sure. I don't own a cold steel push dagger knife, but thank you for this one. That is really cool. That's a really cool find. Perhaps I should do a little bit of research to make sure that you hadn't recovered a murder weapon. Package in the mail number 3. This one comes to me from my friend Soup Master. Sent it to me, oh gosh, a couple of months ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna open it right away, and I just never did. So I don't quite remember the context of this one. He was like, I found a knife that looks interesting, and I'd like for you to open it and have a look and review it, or whatever. And, well, here we are. And the Mini Pal is able to cut tape still, so that's nice. So I have no idea what's in here. Oh, we have Neptune blue, almost purple colored tape. It appears to be a tin. I have many knives that have come in tins. Usually works out pretty well. Oh my gosh. It's by case. Oh, I know what this is now. Okay. There's a story that comes from this knife. I really wish I had opened it back when he sent it to me now, because it's for Halloween.
That's too funny.
Made August of 2018. It is a pumpkin-themed case tribal lock knife. Here's the funny story behind this one. So, one night we were watching together a video by Big E. Big E has a channel of his own on YouTube and caught our attention because of he's a very interesting guy. And he has a very nice collection and good taste. And for Halloween, he presented this knife on his channel. And my friends were like, oh, tell me about that knife, JJ Jinx. So I did. I'm like, oh, that's a case tribal lock knife. I actually love the tribal lock. It's one of my favorites. How much does that go for, JJ Jinx? I'm like, oh, probably like, I don't know, a couple $100. So I jumped on eBay and I saw one. I think it was listed for like $120 or something like that. So I was like, tell you what, let's have some fun. We watched a movie that night. We watch a movie every week together online, like a watch party thing. I said, I'll place a bid on this knife, and then at the end of our movie, we'll see if I won it. Kind of a fun thing. So I dropped probably like $20 or $30 above the current bid, and I became the high bidder. When I got back, there was like 4 minutes left until the closing of the auction, and I was like, someone outbid me. Oh well. That was Soup Master. Or maybe somebody else outbid me, and then Soup Master was like, wait, I'm getting this for JJ Jinx. So thank you very much. That is so funny. I've been sitting on this for like months now. Let's have a closer look. Etched into the orange bone scales are a few pumpkins. First one's got that classic jack-o'-lantern smiley face. The second one's got the Case XX logo, and the third one says trick or treat. The blade is serrated, probably like 2/3 of the way, and it says Happy Halloween with an orange jack-o'-lantern candy bucket. We've got a single X above the case logo, but we already know from the packaging. Oh, here it is. right in front of me. That this was made in 2018. Yep, so I was right. Getting knives out of tins tends to work out. I'll add this to my collection of Case Tribal lock knives, which I happen to have right here. All two of them. The very first one I've got from an SMKW GI mystery box, and I've shown this knife several times on my channel before, but once more won't hurt. This one actually commemorates the different Case logos through the years. I'm sure everybody already knows, but the way Case dates their knives, or they started to at some point, is they'll have their logo in some fashion with dots and X's or something like that. And every year that goes by, a dot or an X is removed. And when all the dots and X's are gone, they move on to a new design logo. So with this knife only having one X on it, you know what? I'm not sure if that means the next year it gets a redesign, or if they have no X's for the next year and then redesign it thereafter. I think it's the latter, because 2018, 2019, and then bam, 2020 would be the new logo. And if you look at the scale on the commemorative knife, you'll notice that they give the range of years for these older logos, and they all end with a year in 9, which would mean, with this one, for example, 2010 to 2019, 2020 would be the next design. And coincidentally, the one that I'm pointing at right now is the one on the Halloween tribal lock. This being my first tribal lock knife, I kind of fell in love with it, but it's decorative and commemorative, and I didn't want to use it, so I bought another one. And this one I did use quite heavily. I still do sometimes. When I feel nostalgic, I'll toss it into my pocket and carry it to work and use it, and it's just a joy. It's a big lock back. Kind of reminds me of, trapper handle, sort of, or no, not a trapper, copper lock, I don't know. Something like that. And it's just big and cool. I like the shiny bolsters. This is the Blue Bone Pocket Worn series, although it looks gray to me. So now I have a trio of tribal locks. A kingly gift. Thank you very much, Soup Master. Thank you very much, Rick. And thank you very much, Prison Guy / Grum. This has been J.
Jinx!
Truck Stop!